because the master never teaches you everything in full. There's always a small trick he keeps to himself. If you have ever read Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power, rule number 1 says, never outshine the master. Never try. So my advice to you today, never try to drown the person who taught you how to swim. You will sink. Amen. And belated happy birthday to Dada Hafko. And a big fat happy birthday to the ever beautiful, ever gorgeous Miss Adodo Aku Agbenyega. Miss Adodo Aku Agbenyega of the Jajoda Cradle Care. You are the proprietress. It's your birthday today. On behalf of all of us, your staff, and the pupils and students, I wish you all the best. God bless you and increase you and bless the work of your hands. Happy birthday to you, Miss Adodo Aku Agbenyega. It's your birthday today. If it's your birthday as well, happy birthday to you. Been joined in studio by Bernardo Oduro George. He's a chartered economist and a member of the NDC, and also George Ayisi is the director of communications of the National Disaster Management Organization. We're not discussing disaster today. Gentlemen, welcome. Good morning. How are you doing?
Doing good.
Great Wednesday, isn't it? Let's begin the conversation this way. Yesterday, something happened in Parliament. A new set of loans have been approved for the government. George, what again is your government looking for in the name of loans at this crucial time of our national life when we have all been told that Kroma is?
Yeah, thank you. Good morning.
You may lift the microphone if you want to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, good morning to you and our listeners. These are actually not new loans. These were loans incorporated in the budget brought before Parliament, the 2023 budget. And, it's time for them to be approved, hence the recall of Parliament to come and work on them. And so, yes, it's something. The minority leader, he said, at this time, he thinks we are in a deep hole, right. And then he doesn't see the need for us to continue digging. That is true. However, there are times too that you find yourself in a precarious situation that you may need some little push to be able to stabilize your position and then have a proper focus to deal with the situation properly. Otherwise, some will say, okay, we are in dire straits. Our debts and co is in precarious state. Why then are we saying we want support from IMF, 3 billion? You get it. IMF is not going to give this to us as Father Christmas, right. Okay? So it's going to be part of the loan facility. But they know we will need it to reorganize ourselves and then get our bearings right and move to deal with the debt situation. And in the agreement, as part of the debt exchange program, we are to reach a debt to GDP rate of about 55% by 2028, right? And so it's part of the conditions. Yes. So these ones are things that we need to continue to do. In spite of the difficulties, some of them, like investment in the agriculture sector, food security matters, is important. That was elsewhere, and then the host was saying, yes, he thinks that's the only proper one that he thinks things should be taken. Again, you're looking at the COVID-19 programs and health facility issues is also important. You know, we are partnering with Senegal and Co to get a vaccine center. Yes, so and if there are health programs going on and we have support to complete them.
George, your party and the government has blamed everything literally on COVID-19, COVID, Russia, Ukraine. If I ask you, by the time we finish a 10-minute conversation, you would have said COVID, Russia, Ukraine. If I ask you why children...
I've not mentioned it
No,
yet,
I'm not saying. I said in the next, yes, you mentioned because it's programmed.
Yes.
You know, it will happen.
No, it's part. It's a factor in the equation.
Now,
it's a factor in the equation.
Now, if you went through 2022 without these loans, we are in May. By June, we will do a budget review. Why do you need monies that we have done without in the past?
What is the situation as of now?
But we went through 2022 without them.
Yeah, you remember when the finance minister said, if we don't get the IMF deal by close of March, the challenges we are likely to face.
We're in May.
Yes.
The economy has not collapsed.
It's not. But you know how we are handling
so we take it.
Now we are holding
it.
You get it? The struggles people are going through to keep the economy afloat. You know, sometimes people, if you want to look at the numbers of the T-bills, Arena and Co., you begin to see some numbers that may be worrying. Okay, so as part of it, and another key one that I thought is important is the Development Bank Ghana. You know, this is a bank that will be established to finance development programs and projects. We have contractors, sometimes they get very capital intensive projects to execute, and funding becomes a challenge, and so they have a straight avenue to go and then source for some of
George, you know, we're where we are now because of how much we have borrowed. And you're mentioning, literally, we are where we are now largely because of what we have borrowed. That's one. We can't explain that away because our external debts, which we're trying to restructure, we've done well trying to, you know, bully people literally to restructure our internal debts, pensioners and everybody else. TUC saw how the boss was talking. Yes, but the point, you tried to touch it and they still haven't gotten paid and they say they'll pick it. So internally, yes, we have tried to do some, but externally, it's showing there because of how much we have borrowed. Yeah. You are mentioning the Development Bank Ghana. Yeah. If you really want to give the people the impression that we are burden sharing, Development Bank Ghana has 3 deputies with a one MD at the top. Do you need that much? Because we're going to borrow to set up a bank, you say to sort out road contractors and all of that. And before the money comes, there are people at ESCO level who are taking fat salaries at the top. Why are we doing this?
Well, we measure it against productivity.
What productivity?
What is the role they're going to play?
CBG. What productivity has CBG brought? CBG, which we collapse bank and put CBG. What has it brought? Now we are setting up Development Bank Ghana, and I'm saying there are 3 deputies and 1 MD. To do what?
Yeah, that's why I say you put on the table. You've said there are 3. So what are their functions? What are their responsibilities? We know elsewhere that the government sector goes to push experienced people in the private sector to come and be in government and pay them very huge salaries because of their contributions towards the achievement of the vision of the government. It happens. And so if you look at the purpose of the Development Bank Ghana, okay, and you know, having 3 deputies, yes, for the optics you say we are not in normal times, so why the need for 3 deputies? Rightly so, as you are saying, but maybe the role they are going to play for the you know, sowing and germinating and taking roots of the bank may be very, very important. Okay, maybe very, very important. So we need to look at that. Okay, going forward. So until we get the details of the functions, I wouldn't sit here and say it's not necessary.
Okay. So the board of directors is responsible for the overall direction policy of DBG.
Good.
Dr. Yawanso is a non-executive director, board chairman. Kwamina Duka, CEO and director. Nora Banaman Abbott, non-executive director. Mary Boachi, non-executive director. Charles Boama, non-executive director. These are the board members, or the board of directors. Now, executive management. Kwame Naduka is the chief executive officer. Michael Mensah Ba is the deputy CEO. El Farouk Kumar is the chief information security officer. Dr. Kwabno Punufrimpo is chief economist. Dr. Prince J. Ajay, chief risk manager. So you have all these people, plus these bosses that I spoke about, and yet we are not able to immediately tell how much or what impact we are feeling. Because if we collapse banks and we set up bank, because this what do you call it, Development Bank Ghana is supposed to be the one doing you start and you bank and all of that. Meboa, have we started the you start program? Are we scratching the people where they are itching? That's the question I'm asking, because these loans are being said that we'll take the loans there. And since we started this You Start conversation in 2020, we are in 2023. Are you able to show me which of the youth we have started?
No, You Start is a policy that government is committed.
Yeah, but under this bank.
Yes, and the times we are in, we are now sourcing major funding for the bank to, set off. So
and it's been there for about 2 years.
Yes,
and these people are being paid fat salaries.
You need to get the structures in place before the takeoff comes. Okay, and so if the funding is not being released to them, how are they going to function as a development bank?
Catapult kind of approach.
No, catapult is not catapult kind of
From
approach.
your reaction to those who suggest that a chunk of the loan, especially this $710 million loan, will go into consultancy and capacity building. And we know in the public sector, these capacity building and consultancy issues take a lot of money. I mean, even if the reports I have is what it is, the minority leader is suggesting, yes.
He's not told us which percent, what quantum is going to go into those consultancy and co. But I don't want to believe that we are going to commit a huge chunk of these money, because they are project specific. Okay, and so if you are going to commit about 20% of this in paying as consultancy fee, then you are not doing good to the Ghanaian. Okay, and I remember the finance minister said we are going to be prudent in our expenditure and co. And where we are drifting, we are at the table with the IMF. Definitely, they are not going to be allowing you to be throwing money around just like that. Okay, especially in these times.
Let me bring in.
I don't want to believe these monies are going to be used for consultancy. I don't think it should be more than 5% committed to those things. But the minority leader didn't give us any figures.
Feasibility studies. Bernardo, step in for me. So we have approval for a new set of loans. What does that say to you?
I was, good morning to your listeners and your viewers out there. I was struggling to understand the basis of some of his, submission. You've got to love Ghana. Let's put partisanship aside. Donnie, let me tell you today, I'm with the NDC. If we come to power and we get it wrong, I'll say it openly. Let's be very honest. Don't let us be too extremely partisan that we defend everything at the peril of our moral turpitude. Look, from financial economy point of view, it is not wrong to go into debt. Let me establish it clear. We in the NDC, Social Democratic Party, we believe in social justice. And every social justification, you will need taxation to create equity. So the NDC is not against borrowing, going for loan and debts, no. But we are very much concerned about the framework of debt that you go in for. Are you going for asset debts or liability debts? And in every governance strata, when you go in for debts, you have to disaggregate the debts and ask whether the debt you've gone in for is asset debts or liability. What is an asset debt? If the NDC in the past had gone in for a loan and put up Terminal 3, it is an asset debt.
Okay, it will pay for it.
It will pay for itself and generate more, consequential revenue and cash flow. If the NDC go in for a loan and buy free fertilizer for cocoa farmers, consequentially, it will lead to improved yield. We'll have more tonnage going for syndicated loan and plow back to the nation. If the NDC go in for a debt or a loan and put up Commander Sugar Factory, it is an asset debt. You sit here. And your government is not even ashamed. You go in for a loan to set up Development Bank Ghana. And look, Johnny, go into economics of banking. And it will tell you one thing. And then
What does it mean?
you don't kill a trader in your attempt to succeed. At time what you go in for is collaboration and partnership. I wouldn't sit here and defend the indefensible. If UT Bank, Unibank, Heritage, Premium were wrong in some instances, you don't throw the baby away with the dirty water. Let me take you to UK. When the Lloyds Bank were going wrong, the UK government then could have resorted to clean it up, bruise them off, collapse them. But what did they do? The government of UK then called the shareholders and the owners of Lloyds Bank and said that, hey, Chad, government want to have a stake in the Lloyds Bank. Today, the Lloyds Bank is one of the biggest bank on the soil of the world. And many of their transactions they are doing, most of their consultancy and their approach to financial engineering, they may even resort to them. So a government took a wise decision to use nationalistic consideration. You sit in this country, and you are telling people of those who are listening to you that you've got first they went in for $750 million to set up Development Bank Ghana. True or false?
That's accurate.
Okay. Now later on, you are now going for is it 170
million.
Euro, right?
Yeah, euro,
okay.
Yeah.
So you see, you live in a country. You said Amwabin, the managerial why they were getting things wrong. And at that time, they said that, okay, if you give us 9 billion Ghana cedi, we can survive, pay off our debtedness and survive. Government said that no. For the start, they said we need 11 billion. They increased it to 14, to 17, to 21, to 25. And today, the figure for the club is inching to about 31 billion Ghana cedi. This same government collapsed these 9 banks. Now, say collapse.
They cleaned them up.
No. Don't sugarcoat and be diplomatic. Let's go straight.
But that's what the government says.
Look, you want to kill your son and your daughter for doing the wrong thing. And they said, okay, Papa, if you accept our apology, we'll commit no wrong again. Now, as a father, you have 2 options. You can decide to take them to rehabilitation center or kill them. I'll go for the former. I'll take rehabilitation center to come back home more cleanup. See, if Amwabin, Pakwasindum, those people did wrong.
Nina cool all of this once.
Okay, government has said that, okay, I am taking a controlling stake. If you have 70%, reduce your shareholding structure to, let's say, 30%, government takes 70%. And government could have maintained those banks by giving them 9 billion. You so use the word deceptively, clean up, to collapse them. Don't let us play around words here. Johnny, in any economy, where you want the local people to own it, you grow local banks. Today, if Access Bank, Guarantee Bank, Republic Bank, Eco Bank, when they make profit, where does it go? It goes to Togo, it goes to South Africa, it goes to wherever they came from. But if we had grown Amwaben, Pakwasindum, and they grow, nationalistically, they will stay here. So you took that kind of envious decision. I will not. It was an envious decision because
envy from who?
Envy from finance minister, because he realized that Data Bank, Pakwasindum, and the rest were growing against his Data Bank company. Today, check the record. Go to the Trust Bank of Gambia. The Data Bank of Ghana owns about 22% shares in the Trust Bank of Gambia. So you see, you collect Ghanaian banks as a finance minister, and afterwards, when you made the money, you took the money away to Gambia to invest in Gambia. So me and you, do you expect the ghost of the land to come and invest in Ghana? So you see, wherever these people have driven up to self-inflicted, calculatively, they sat down to decapitalize people.
But government now says that, look, what George is saying, that at this point you need this to hold on while you wait for the IMF deal. Okay. Akin to a mother who knows that, look, I'm preparing fufu for my children, but in the meantime, you take this Gary Soakins and manage while we try and
Johnny,
get
sorry to ask, how many kids do you have?
I have only one.
You have one. Okay, I
have
have 2.
It's public knowledge.
Thank you. Now, when your child is spoiled, do you pamper that child or you discipline that child?
Oh, it's discipline.
Fantastic. So let's go to financial economy, fiscal consolidation. When people are engaging in financial spillage, you don't keep on bombarding them with money they won't account for. Let me get to government-owned documentation. Third Auditor General report on the COVID fund. It is not my document, their own document. And when you read that document, it stinks. It stinks, it smells like Momoni Kobe. This is the government that got 21 billion new Ghana cedi. And per your own auditor general you appointed, raised red flags. $81 million paid for vaccine that never came to Ghana. Convert $81 million in current exchange rate to Ghana cedi.
But we're going to retrieve it. That's what we're told.
And you have hope of us getting that money.
You don't believe the government?
Johnny, let me sit on this show. If this government is able to retrieve that money, change my name.
Hey.
Why are you in this country? Why are you surprised about this government? A government that promised God National Cathedral is not the biggest hole in the world, and you are convinced that this government can retrieve this money? You are convinced about that? They promised God, they've disappointed God, though, not human being. Oh. If they can disappoint God just to dig the biggest hole in the history of the world, what else this government cannot do?
But they say construction doesn't happen a day. What's the disappointment?
See, that is why you see in pure economy, Johnny, you resort to theories, postulation, and projections. In political economy, you use common sense. There are two things in the world of economy. When you go to pure economy,
So you said the government got it wrong. They failed to think.
totally wrong,
ahead.
fundamentally wrong, arithmetically wrong, logically wrong, everything wrong. Logically, arithmetically, statistically, financially wrong.
So we shouldn't have given them
At
this.
all.
But this was taken by the decision was taken by the majority in Parliament.
Johnny, you live in a country. Do you know that National Cathedral project led to the resignation of one appeals court judge? Because the man could not stand it. He said it didn't make sense to him. You go in for a loan to put up building for appeals court judges, 9 of them. You collapse it. Number 2, Ghana Maritime Authority building, you collapse it. Scholar Secretariat, you collapse it. In fact, there was a database for Ghana Judicial Service Institute costing $50 million. They collapsed it. Apart from that, private individual investment, you collapse. Now they're in court for judgment debt. If you quantify this whole distraction, Johnny, it's about 10 billion new Ghana cedi. All because you promise God. I am not against promising delivering on God. Johnny, come to think about it. If I were part of government advisory body advising the government, do you know what I've done?
No.
Look at from Cape Coast, Accra, Cape Coast, Takrady Stretch of Road, Kumasi Stretch of Road, Volta Road, vast land undeveloped. A questionable government will not collapse those things and do that. Do the project, but take the project where to help areas to develop. You come and do these things there to dig the biggest hole in the world. So you see, Johnny, don't let us sit here and pamper these people.
So bottom line is that these loans should have not been given to them, and that they will waste the money.
That is why I ask how many kids you have, and when your child is spoiled, you discipline that child.
But the IMF will bring us the money anyway, won't they?
You see, my brother made a very, very uncomparable situation. Johnny, when you are giving apple and orange, don't be quick to say that they will have the same taste. Think about it. The IMF bailout will have a cheaper interest rate. Don't be deceived. Ghana is a member of IMF.
Right.
And when you are taking the bailout fund, the interest rate on the bailout fund is this commercial borrowing.
That's right.
And in commercial borrowing, because the risk inherent is so huge, the interest consequentially you pay is higher. So if you ask IMF today that what is the interest they are giving Ghana on the $3 billion, it will be about 80% cheaper than this commercial borrowing. So don't sit here and say that because we are going to IMF, so if you are hungry, do eat every food. Will you eat every food because you are hungry? Hell no. When you are, even though you are hungry, you're never going to use 2 fingers to eat. So let them understand. Then we should not deceive the people. The IMF bill of $3 billion has a favorable terms compared to this commercial borrowing. Okay. Because if I go to money or capital market to borrow, because the inherent material risk in that amount I'm giving you is so high, I'm going to give you harsher terms and conditions. More so to the point when you are a restricted default country. Today, Ghana is a restricted default country. So these loans we are taking, we might even end up doing insurance cover on them. Do you know that?
I know.
So don't compare IMF to commercial borrowing.
I see.
It's incomparable.
It's incomparable.
But when you're hungry, you don't use 2 hands, not because you can use 2 fingers.
Yeah,
that's just by
2 hands. 2 hands. So George, let's wrap up this way.
Yeah.
The people of Ghana certainly are not happy with all these borrowings, and I'm sure you are very much aware. And now we come to the disaster point of the conversation, where you have to manage the disaster. What again can you say to convince the people, including people like Bernardo, who say, look, I'm bringing my economics background to the table. I'm a political communicator and all of that. Whatever you are saying doesn't make sense. How do you make sense to the people?
Before I respond directly, he claims I'm defending the indefensible, defend government for no good cause. I disagree with him. The situation we are in, I established that fact from the beginning, that he says he doesn't understand me in any way, and I'm not surprised at that. Secondly, he is saying issues of raking in dividends from investments or borrowing at this time. And I'm surprised as a development economist, or you say you are financial economist.
It's a chartered economist.
You don't see how the Development Bank Ghana can rake in funding for itself as time goes on.
Because you had already spent the earlier one that was borrowed.
Yes. And then two, I disagree that there are some investments that are social. They don't rake in any money, but they're very important and compelling that governments invest in such areas. Okay, and so when you have funds and you put in free SHS, you're not expecting to get returns immediately.
Okay, but we're expecting to get money from
20 years,
planting for food and jobs.
Yes,
we're expecting to get money from planting for food and jobs.
So there are some investments.
But where's the money?
Construct roads immediately. You're not expecting to get some immediate returns and co. But the medium to long-term returns are phenomenal. Okay, and so as a chartered economist, I believe he should appreciate some of those investments. Okay, there are areas that you put money in, you get direct returns, but there are areas you're not expecting otherwise you shouldn't be spending on education at all.
But then George, to be very, very sincere, hold on, I'm coming. George, to be very sincere with ourselves, William would say we are not there yet. The countries that do some of these investments that they do not expect anything from are there, so they can afford to do some of those things. I mean, I'm just reading off a PTA page how parents have been told to bring money to support the schools. So we are not there yet. Why do we want to do what those who are there are doing when we go borrowing from them? So we built Terminal 3. We're getting money from it. We build roads. We are tolling the roads. We're getting money from it. You do things that will bring back money so you can get to expand and do other things until you are there to be able to.
So we don't have to have schools.
I didn't know. I didn't say that.
That's your logic.
No,
that's the logic.
We want to support you. Say no.
But George,
because the schools
government is struggling to execute.
Government is struggling. George, government is struggling to implement the free SHS.
And it's stopping us from supporting.
Government is preventing us from having PTAs. Get closer to the mic.
What is the mindset?
George, you have been an elective maths teacher before, right?
Yes.
Now in school, when you were there, as a member of the Teachers Association and PTA, you were telling parents, "Oh, we need irons for which of the dormitories in front of him where you house master." Then we will bring the things. Now you start the thing and say we should keep off. And you can't do it. Manya bulu, or you don't know that.
I was a PTA executive.
Thank you. And you know silver collections and all of those things, they help. Now you have stopped all those things and you say you can do it.
It's not even targeting the teachers.
You can't even do that.
It's not targeting the teachers. It's just
no, there are challenges.
George, so don't get
challenges. But it doesn't mean
George, hold on.
Abandon ship.
So don't get me. We have not said that.
Nobody has said that.
We have not said that. We are saying that.
Talking about Terminal 2 raking in money back.
George,
and I'm saying there are investments that do not bring returns.
Get closer to the microphone.
Okay.
When the
chartered economists will appreciate
George,
that.
when the free SHS conversation started,
don't ask for the free
and the
SHS
Heritage Fund matter was mentioned. Ken Oforiatta, who is the finance minister, keeper of the public purse, he said parents should be allowed, or those who can pay should be allowed to pay. In your typical stubborn nature as a government, use it. But today we are back at it.
The government says no. We want to.
Who is the government? The government is you and I.
Yes, but we elected a team in place to master the affairs of the economy. Okay, and so the government, led by His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, says, look, we've got a new discovery: the oil, the Jubilee Fields and co. What dividends we get from must benefit, every household in Ghana must benefit therefrom. Okay, and so that is the primary source of funding for the free SHS thing. So fantastic, right? Challenges have come up. True. Okay, where do we go? I tell you that I also do not agree in some of the fundings, okay? That, for instance, boarding, feeding, and those things, okay?
So,
I agree.
So this is from the PTA page. It says, following the explanations by, I won't mention the number, above, any parent who wants to do a direct Momo transfer can also do via so and so number. I won't mention the number.
Which school is then that?
You can.
It's not approved by Ghana.
I'll tell you. No, it doesn't have to be approved.
Yes,
Now,
you don't have the right. No, the law says you must seek approval.
Oh, please.
That's what the law
please.
says.
Also, any member who wants to make donations, material donations like A4 sheets, toner, etc. And William can associate because we've been buying.
Oh no,
now, please contact any of the following for receipt. You tell us that everything is free.
Yes.
That's the impression you have given the public.
Yes.
And then we who are inside and supporting people to go through school, we are paying. So we say, look, we are paying toner. You are supposed to buy toner as a government. You are supposed to buy A4 sheets.
Yes.
Do you buy them?
Yes.
Do you buy them?
Oh no, funds are sent, but they are delayed. There are challenges with those funding.
So then the point we are making is that
the issue of maintenance came up. I went there in some of the schools, Augustine's in Fanspim, maintenance is zilt. Okay, so because the amount that is brought is not enough.
So we are saying that let us help you so that we can do this together.
Let's sit down, partner. That's going forward. That's why I said
that is what we are saying. Then you said it's Ken Oforiatta's mindset.
No, at that time, the government disagreed with him. A government that he's part of disagreed.
And now, so far, 6 years down the line, the government has shown us that they can't do it alone. So can we help now?
Why not?
Will you hit an apple pie and call us to help?
That would be engagement. I agree with you. No, let me tell you. I'm one of those people who had obstinate stance that no, free SHS, absolutely.
George, take my ring. I'm engaging you now.
Recent ones, this school feed, boarding, feeding and co.
You have had a change of mind.
Yeah, I sat on radio and I said, no, I think it's time we get engagement and see how we can fund it. Now let me talk about some quick things.
Our time is up.
Yes. Quick things about the banks and those things. Look, the then government, his government, I agree with his position. I had made some rural banks in Ghana when that man Mante was Bank of Ghana. Banks, Mante. Banks had challenges. He brought the Bank of Ghana staff to go and help those banks to revitalize them. That's fantastic. That was an option, But before this time, his government had released monies to the banks to, get back on their feet. What did they do with those monies?
Okay.
So it's
they survived.
JM gave them money and
they survived.
They
didn't die.
Investment.
No, they didn't die. So prosecute them.
We have to go.
You own Mensa Otabe, you can't touch him. Prosecute Mensa Otabe. Prosecute Mensa Otabe and let's see you can't.
We are in difficult times, but we'll get out.
Bernardo Drosechi is a member of the NDC. He's also a chartered economist. George Ayisi is the National Disaster Management Organization's PRO. He's been managing the disaster. My name is Johnny Hughes. I've been here with William Asiedu and Helena Piampo. Godwin Asideba standing by with the news. DJ Abiam, 62's Don Ulo, Asoreba, Mamiya, Selwyn, Solution Setak Baiza, Franklin, Okulu, and Janet. Thank you all very much indeed for the support. We'll see you tomorrow. Good morning.
Simple life. It's all we want to live. Give me food, give me clothes, give me love, and give me shelter.